Hey, hey everybody, I want to do a quick video here for those of you that have been asking about the Duplex door closure system. And I'm going to take you around both sides and show you two different things that I've been playing with. So this is the first concept that I came up with. And by me saying I came up with it, I don't mean I came up with it. I saw somebody else doing this, so took the idea and ran with it. So right now, obviously, I have both doors closed. Have the primary ZPacks skyline coming out to the line lock 3 with hoop that ZPacks sells, and it's right there, and using MSR groundhogs. So the skyline comes down from the tent, or from the apex, into the line lock 3, and then comes up to, this clasp. Which I have tied off. And then another one so there's the whole line. Comes down, hits the line lock 3, comes out a few inches, and then both of these snap clips. And then I have, I don't know, about another 3 feet for if I need to pull this out further if I'm set up in a bad location and I can't get stakes in. So what I did for the D-rings is, and this is one of those places where I was commenting that it would be nice if ZPacks would provide a way to just attach this to here, you know, without forcing us to cut this and re-sew it on, if this idea even pans out that I and everybody else likes the idea. But for right now, I just have some cordage on here, and it would have been better if I would have shortened this up. Should have been about half this length. And I have the same thing on the other side as well. So it just ends up being a matter of clipping that. I'm gonna have to put this down. Hang on, sorry. So anyway, it just ends up being a matter of clipping that onto there as the primary. And usually what I'll do is, if the weather's really, you know, if the rain's is really coming down, I'll just do that. And that way, you know, I have at least one panel that's blocking some rain spray if the wind's blowing that direction. But I mean, come on, let's face it, folks. You know, this shelter doesn't hardly ever need all 4 doors closed. I mean, you can do it for privacy reasons, but for weather reasons, it's pretty unnecessary. On these, you just have some really howling wind. So anyway, and then the other clasp just goes right into there. And you know, the reason that I liked this idea is if you're inside, trying to get the little carabiner unclipped from here is just a serious pain in the ass. There's just no other way to put it. So you can just reach from in there and bam, and your door's unlocked. And you know, I should say unlocked, I mean open. You know, and obviously, you know, if you want to reattach it, then, you know, it requires using both hands to, you know, reach outside and clasp it. Anyway, that is the system for this side. Let me walk you on the other side now. By the way, as you can see, I have this shelter extremely taut, and that is about as good as I think that this shelter can get set up. You can see the apex there is perfect, and it's very tight. I staked it out, you know, setting it up, and then I went all the way around and re-staked it. And you know, I think don't know if I showed this or not, but what I do for the corners is just take the guy line By the way, this is a Lawson's Glow Flow or something like that. And then I come out to a, again, one of the ZPacks line locks with loop. And then to tighten it, it's just simply a matter of pulling that and, you know, hitting that to unloosen it. And again, okay, so on this side, I have some experimentation going on. I actually have two ZPacks lines, one here and one here. And what I've been doing is trying to see if having two guy lines provides any better stability in high weather situations, you know, or situations where it's really muddy. My last two hikes were in, well, two of my previous three hikes were very muddy and ended up having stakes come out of the ground. So I'm just playing around with two different guy lines and, you know, positioning and, you know, should they be here, should the primary apex be straight. In this case it's not. I have it offset about 8 inches from the center, and the same thing with that particular one over there, and that's just something I'm playing around with. So here's what I've been really playing around with. I have the primary coming out to my standard system here and then going to one of the two doors, and unfortunately I ran out of the little snaps, so I had to use one of these carabiners, well, beaners that come from ZPacks. Otherwise I'd have that on there. But what I've been playing with is not attaching the second door to this primary system and instead using its own stake. You know, I always carry one or usually two extra stakes. You know, you might lose a stake, or, you know, stake might bend beyond usability, you know, or you might have to give a stake away to, you know, somebody else on the trail, a hiking buddy or whatever. You know, carrying an extra stake or two is just a wise idea. And this particular method of doing it would, you know, allow me the ability to, you know, use that extra stake, or, you know, if I can't use an extra stake, I can still use the original method. But anyway, I'm just using a second stake to use the second door, and, you know, I can easily just reach inside and, you know, undo this one door or the other door, or however I have to have it set up. But the nice thing about this is it provides a little bit of air gap in here, and, you know, anytime you can get airflow is a very, very good thing. So by using this second stake that's pushed in, and I'm using the inner flat for this, you know, I'm getting that extra airflow through here. And you know, again, if I'm in a situation where I have to have all four doors closed, that means it's just hella rain, and, you know, obviously rain means condensation, and the airflow, you know, helps condensation. So it's just a concept I'm playing around with to see if, you know, if I can reduce that condensation issue on really rainy days. And, you know, to solve this whole problem of, you know, door closures, sorry, you know, normally it would be like this or like on the other side, and, you know, it just seems like this seems like a simple solution, just using a double stake door system. One of the other ideas I've had is, instead of using the line lock 3 down there, and again I'm out so I can't, is putting the line lock up here, and then that way you just, you know, you have the hoop on the bottom, and then you just drive your stake into the hoop, and then you come up here, and then it would just be a simple matter of boom, you know, to tighten this up, you know. So you're basically just going to reach in, obviously with two hands, I can't do that right now, but, you know, reach in with one hand, pull this way, and then snug it down with the other one. Seems like that would be a much easier method of getting the two apex poles to be tightened. Anyway, folks, yeah, that's about all my thoughts on things at this point. And as I presented in my my video that I shot for my article review of this tent, I usually don't like it this tight or this taut, because, you know, I like using the method of using a stick off the ground to get myself some extra room on the inside, and you can see as soon as I did that, it started putting tension lines on the fabric because it was so tight already. So by not keeping your shelter this tight, when you do end up pulling this up, you'll see that the tension lines just bam right there, especially on the bottom. So there's a very tight tent. There's a tent that has serious tension lines, and you want to try to stay away from that. So by not having your tent completely staked out very tight, it gives you that extra freedom so that when you do pull this up, you're not putting stress on it. Just my theory, my idea. I don't know. Might be stupid, but seems like there's some legitimacy to it. Anyway, folks, looks like I'm at 10 minutes now, so cut this loose. Hope this helps somebody, and let's just keep the ideas flowing.